Currently, we are under First Amendment freedom of the press attack. This is not a spring chick. That's me. And as you can see, I'm Asian and not Caucasian, as some may think. I introduce or exit my pieces, letting people know that I am not a spring chick. Few provisions of the Bill of Rights of the U.S. Constitution stir deeper emotions today than that guaranteeing freedom of the press. The resolution enumerated the rights of colonists as perceived by the Continental Congress and included this statement: the last right we shall mention regards the freedom of the press. The importance of this consists, besides advancement of truth, science, morality, and arts in general, in its diffusion of liberal sentiments on the administration of government, its ready communication of thought between subjects, and its consequential promotion of union among them, whereby oppressive officers are shamed or intimidated into more honorable and just modes of conducting affairs. Freedom of speech of the press is at issue. If you do a news piece, can your business be ordered to be shut down because the person interviewed in the news piece does not like what they said, or how they looked on camera, or the pen name of the person doing the piece? Can you order the internet to remove all references to not only that news piece, but all references to it and the pen name of the one that did the piece? Do news pieces done on the internet have the same protection as those in print and over the air? The First Amendment to the United States Constitution is part of the United States Bill of Rights. On its face, it prohibits the United States Congress from making laws respecting an establishment of religion, the Establishment Clause, or that prohibit free exercise of religion, which is the Free Exercise Clause, or laws that infringe the freedom of speech, infringe the freedom of the press, limit the right to peaceably assemble, or limit the right to petition the government for redress of grievances. Although the First Amendment explicitly prohibits only the named rights from being abridged by laws made by the Congress, the courts have interpreted it as applying more broadly. As the first sentence in the body of the Constitution reserves all lawmaking legislative authority to the Congress, the courts have held that the First Amendment's term also extends to the executive and judicial branches. Additionally, in the 20th century, the Supreme Court has held that the Due Process Clause of the 14th Amendment incorporates the limitations of the First Amendment. That means that the restrictions of the First Amendment also apply to the states, including the local governments within each of those states. As a favor to the individual, the article was removed from the internet, but you can't remove references to it until they fade away. It is the internet. Freedom of the press, like freedom of speech, is subject to restrictions on bases such as defamation law. Restrictions, however, have been struck down if they are aimed at the political message or content of newspapers. You may sue for libel only if the publisher publishes statements in question with actual malice. The constitutions of most of the several states also provide free speech protections analogous to that of the U.S. Constitution. Some states, such as California, have treated their local constitutional protections as being more expansive than that of the U.S. Constitution. Courts have rarely treated content-based regulation of the press with any sympathy. In Miami Herald Publishing versus Tornillo in 1974, the court unanimously struck down a state law requiring newspapers criticizing political candidates to publish the responses. The state claimed that the law had been passed to ensure press responsibility. Finding that only freedom and not press responsibility is mandated by the First Amendment. The Supreme Court ruled that the government may not force newspapers to publish that which they do not desire to publish. Still, the issue at hand here is, can you be ordered to give the interview to that person, let them re-edit, relight, and do whatever they wish to the interview so they can be seen in the light that they wish themselves to be seen in, and then have it reposted in this new form? Can you imagine the material that would be if this were allowed, especially in an election year? If you can shut an internet business down because you don't like what a person has published that you said, or you don't like a person's pen name, what else can you do? Freedom of the press would be completely gone. I have a background in journalism, college degree, and have studied internationally. I'm having to do something that I don't normally do, which is perhaps to be a little bit more serious. But anything such as this, which attacks the freedom of the press, well, affects everybody. And if I don't stand for it, who will?